Well, so we have to do the newspapers. I've been joined by Kojo Yankson. Good morning, Kojo.
Good morning,
How was the
Roland.
weekend?
Quite an eventful one.
Yeah.
Yes, Mama V and I were in Ibri for a photo shoot for the Joy Bridal Fair magazine.
When is it starting off?
Well, the bridal fair begins, I believe, on the 26th or 28th, end of this month.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, and
so we'll be looking forward to. Who did you get married to? Because usually, you know, the first time I saw a shoot of the Joy Bridal Fair, I saw my colleagues. I said, I thought they were really married. Then I got to know that it was for the Joy Bridal.
Yes, an easy mistake to make.
First.
Yes, very realistic pictures.
Yeah.
So yes, we were Benis Abubedu and I were pretending to be.
Yeah. You have to act
married.
for the part.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I can imagine.
Yes, it went very well. We enjoyed ourselves. It was
All right.
good.
So we have to do the newspapers.
We do, don't we? And why don't I start with the Ghanaian Times? Couple of interesting stories in here. GES vows to crack the whip on wayward promiscuous teachers. Muslims hail government for construction of AstroTurf Park for Eid prayers. Colleges of education to become varsity colleges in September, says the president. And there are some who are going to be very excited, but I'll tell you, some people who are probably going to be a bit nervous about this. And no Ghana card for minority MPs, and that's according to the National Identification Authority. Lots of sports on the back page. Mexico stun holders, Germany, and Nigeria stumble to Croatia. But I want to take you to the center spread, pages 16 and 17, to talk about these two particular stories. Colleges of education to become varsity colleges in September. Now, you can imagine that being quite exciting for colleges of education, you know.
At least for those who attend and
yes,
hope
indeed.
to enroll.
Yes, you can now do a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to happen through the affiliation of University of Cape Coast. And that's where there are going to be a number of people scrambling around their desks trying to figure out how to make this happen. Because, of course, when a university is affiliated to you, it gives you massive administrative responsibilities. You're going to have to assign manpower and resources to ensure that the university is operating to the standard which is worthy of your degree. You know,
definitely.
And obviously what this means is that with whatever limited resources the University of Cape Coast already has and is probably overstretched, they are now going to somehow have to find a way of doing this job as well. I don't yet know whether their allocation, their budgetary allocation is going to be increased, because whatever it is they're supposed to get for salaries is already stretched very thin. So I can imagine that the smiles on UCC campus are rather nervous this morning.
As far as for the administrators of the university, yeah.
Yes, indeed. Now this story, GES vows to crack the whip on wayward, promiscuous teachers. I found this particularly interesting this morning, Roland. Wayward teachers who engage in amorous relationships with students will suffer swift and ruthless consequences. This is according to the Volta Regional Director of the Ghana Education Service, Ms. Ingenam Afi Amafuga. I hope I've said that right. Now, she says that the GES has an ethical code which does not endorse inappropriate relationships between teachers and students. And once they are violated, the laid down disciplinary action will follow without delay and compromise. Okay. But who is she talking to? Who is the audience here?
Yeah,
who
but
is
that's
she,
the question.
Yeah, who is she telling this to? Because is this new? Are these guidelines new? Have they not been there all along? So if you haven't been implementing them and you are now telling us you are going to implement, who are you informing?
Yeah, particularly when we know that we've had a number of scandals, especially this year, or even from the latter part of last year through to this year.
There was one last year that really bothered me, Roland.
Which one?
This happened in Sisala. 38-year-old headmaster, Wiayuga Mumuni, called a 10-year-old girl into his office, pardon me, a 12-year-old girl into his office. She was with her younger sister. He sent the younger sister away, violated this 12-year-old, I mean, defiled her, gave her 20 Ghana cedis and said, don't tell anyone. Now, the girl ended up reporting it to a female teacher, and this became a police case. He was arrested, charged with defilement. Do you know what Ghana Education Service did to this teacher?
What actions have they been able to take so far?
Well, this alleged defilement happened early last year, okay? The case was reported to court in April. They did nothing until September, beginning of a new term, when they simply transferred him to another school, Tumu Unity Basic School. They simply transferred him there to go and overlook other people's children.
Well, more so painfully will be the fate of the young 12-year-old.
Yes, indeed. For all the time that this case was in court, from April until the end of that academic year, this girl was still in the same school which was presided over by the man who violated her. Eventually, he was found guilty. Apparently, he's serving a 10-year sentence with hard labor, which he was protesting.
But the time it took for the
Indeed.
Education Service to take the actions,
Indeed.
knowing that they already have guidelines which needed to be followed through,
Look,
I think should be a cause for concern.
You're absolutely right, Roland. And our Constitution says that everything we do should be in the best interest of the child. Everything, not just everything we do in school or in the classroom or where children are present, but everything. In everything, we must first consider the best interest of a child. So when will the GES start considering the best interest of the child?
Well, there's a food for thoughts for the
Indeed.
Perhaps
That's
if we
it
can
for the
follow
Ghanaian
through on
Times.
some of these, we'll see how it
Indeed.
goes.
And NIA is denying that they've made any Ghana cards for minority
Well,
MPs.
you cited some of those cards on social media as well.
I've seen a few, haven't you?
Yeah. And well, it's good that they formally came out with a statement. I just thought there were some discrepancies in there. It says ECOWAS something card,
Yes.
and we know there's a Ghana card.
Not
so,
an ECOWAS. Yeah,
so I was trying to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we go to the finder, and we're talking about consolidating gains made at the paperless port system. 16 port agencies cut to 3, as 43% of containers get cleared in 24 hours. Is one of the stories dominating the front page of the finder. We also have Ghana depreciation, Mahama lacks understanding, Dr. Baumia, and 3 armed robbers jailed 180 years in Kofodia. Govendo says he's committed to the welfare of Muslims, and we know that marking the Eid al-Fitr, and MPS makes first $100 million drawdown from IFC for the Tema Port expansion. But what is taking or should take our attention is effective July 1, the number of agencies undertaking joint inspections at the port will be reduced from 16 to 3. And we know that before the close of the new day on Friday, the Vice President gave this indication at what they call the MOBEX 2018 edition.
Yeah, technology fair.
Yeah, and it's been a concern for many freight forwarders and those who work at the port, and even those who import or export goods from our port. And we're hoping that something could be done about this, because even though there's been an introduction of the paperless system, so to speak, the processes still remain cumbersome and bureaucratic, and even the cost in itself has gone up, even though that was not the initially intended idea. But it's a great concern.
Yeah, I'm also fascinated by the fact that all of this work, all of these changes, the paperless system, the implementation of this reduction of 16 to 3, all of this happened under the tenure of the recently sacked director of ports.
It's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's someone in the wings who they believe can do this even better than him, right?
Yeah. Let's see how it goes with all that. On page 10 is a story about the CD depreciation debate, and the vice president replying the former president as lacking understanding. And the vice president has hit back at former President John Dramani Mahama, and he posted a tweet on his handle, and he got a great reply. Well, basically what the former president was saying was about the current depreciation of the cedi against the major international currencies, particularly the US dollar. And we know that there was a big thing from 2014, 2015, extensive criticism of the Mahama-led administration about the management of the fundamentals of the economy.
Am I the only one who is noticing this? So, currently in Ghana, our economy is being managed by two of the best brains you could possibly imagine. The finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, vice president, Dr. Baumia. Two people who, I mean, the promise with which their appointments were heralded, I mean, unprecedented. These guys have a great track record, right? It goes to tell you how powerful politics is. If even under the stewardship of two brains like this, we could still be having debates about the depreciation of the cedi. And Dr. Baumia is responding to the former president after Ghanaians who have never been president before have also raised questions. There were no responses to those. But when the former president asked the question, surprise, surprise, Dr. Baumia has an explanation. Again, politics showing its face to be more prominent than that of you know, the technocratic work it requires to manage an economy. But even more importantly, have you noticed the actual argument that Dr. Baumia is making? So he's basically saying that the former president doesn't understand how the economy, you know, how the cedi works, and that actually this government has the best record for first year depreciation. You know, the year-on-year depreciation.
Yeah, definitely.
This government has had the best first year in the Fourth Republic. So he talks about how under Rawlings, the depreciation was something like 30%.
At least try to give us some history.
Yes, under Rawlings, first year depreciation, 35%. Terrible. Under Kufuor, 5%. Nice. Under Atta Mills, 14%. Sorry, 15%. And then under Mahama, first year, 14.5%. So this government had 4.9% in its first year, which makes it the best ever. But who's talking about the first year? This is about depreciation halfway into the second year. But his counter is about their record in the first year. Who's talking about that? And then he goes even further. You see, again, it's all about, you know, past glory. Oh, he needs to make the point that NPP has been a better manager of the currency than the NDC. Then he goes back to Kufuor. Over the 4 years, depreciation was 75%. And then he goes to NDC over their Kufuor 8 years, 75%. Yeah.
And then
NDC
the
8 years, 247%. Who cares? We're talking about 2018.
Yeah.
So what is the explanation for the depreciation this year? What has caused it? This is what we want to hear. So instead of telling the former president that he doesn't understand, tell me, the Ghanaian citizen, why this? I need almost 5 cedis to buy $1.
You know what? Basically, we just have to reduce the conversation in real terms for the ordinary man. The thing is, the rate at which the cedi was close of December 2016 against the major international currencies, particularly the US dollar, is it the same? Once it's not the same, and depreciation has setting, it definitely would affect ultimately other indicators in the economy. And whether it's been steep or on a downward spiral or the upward spiral as it is, no matter what it is, there's been a certain rate of depreciation, contrary to what we were told would have been if they were managing the economy. And that has got a ripple effect on what inflation, prices, rate of prices of goods and services on the economy, etc. And I believe sometimes if we as citizens are more responsible and know what the issues are and are aware, then we can raise the questions. But perhaps, I guess all the economic things are being used to bamboozle all of us. So we'll see how it goes.
Well,
but basically that will do for the find out.
Okay, then shall I take you to the Daily Guide?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so Ibrahim fights bauxite case. I think this is the extant cubic matter. Baumia tackles Mahama. We've talked about that. Otumfuo hosts Nana and Ochehene. It's a beautiful picture of the president standing between the Otumfuo and the Ochehene, resplendent in tuxedos. The Otumfuo in a three-piece that I certainly spotted and wished I had one of.
Yeah, you're good at the suits.
Yeah, but you know, it was after a golf tournament. The Otumfuo takes his golf very seriously, and the Ochehene was there with beautiful pictures of the two of them riding together in Otumfuo's car. And sadly, after this, there was an accident, involving one of the vehicles in the Ochehene's convoy. But that night, obviously, you can't take anything away from it. Everybody looked fantastic. They had a great time, wonderful pictures, and the amount of money and power in one room, gosh. Things like that don't happen very often.
Not at all. But I think there's also the symbolism of the whole event, having the two, knowing that just the last few weeks or just over a month or two ago, there was all this furore about what may have been said or is being instigated, so to speak, by certain personalities around the president at the presidency against the Otumfuo, the Asante Man, etc. And I believe that the two of them coming together, showing that public unity also is very symbolic.
Yeah, I think it's a good move on their parts. It's great for them to rise above politics and demonstrate that they symbolize something that is far more abiding and long-standing and important to us as Ghanaians. All right, also, banner headline, Rawlings jabs NDC's Anita. She's a crook. And this is according to some recording that somebody has done. I'll read a bit of it to you. Former President Jerry John Rawlings has once again descended heavily on the vice chairperson of the opposition National Democratic Congress, Anita D'Souza, calling her a crook. In a short video which went viral over the weekend, the former president was seen criticizing Anita D'Souza, who was once NDC's national
Was it at a private event, I think? Was it
well,
party, or?
they describe it as let's see, what did they say? There's some language here that describes the event. Yes.
Because if you look at the video, it looks like an eatery, a sitting of eating.
It says, the president said, Anita is a crook. She was lucky I didn't speak about her that day during the June. Oh, yes. Recorded recently at a social gathering at an unidentified location. Yeah. That is the extent.
Because clearly you could see somebody was just taking a sneak peek.
Yes, that is the non-revelatory language being used here by Daily Guide.
Was announcing the event?
I wonder.
Yeah.
But, oh gosh, he says quite a bit. He says, she was lucky I didn't speak about her that day during the June 4 celebration. Well, he did speak about her, but I guess he just kept it to the bleaching matters and not any allegations of being a crook. But he goes on to tell this interesting story of how Anita was supposed to be third in command in the 31st December Women's Movement, and at a big event, she suddenly stepped out and went on her knees and grabbed Nana Konedu's leg and was saying, my mother, and that somehow propelled her public profile, and she was suddenly not third in line anymore. She was all the way up in the queue. But that doesn't sound like being a crook. It sounds like being a politician, right?
Yeah, but I think that she contested for that position and was elected for it.
Yes.
So,
but again, that's the point I'm making, you know. So the fact that she made a public spectacle that attracted, admiration is being described by the former president as being a crook. I don't know how he would describe getting into a gutter and, cleaning out the gutter even though you are a president.
Well, that's being a man of the people, I
Indeed, guess. Yes. But there you go. That, I believe, is the Daily Guide. Oh, there's some entertainment news. Wizkid and Naomi Campbell walk for Dolce & Gabbana.
That'll be on the center spread.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And Gabi Ochudako endorses Samuel Owusu, the unique rap talent, winner of the 2018 edition of TV3's Talented Kids reality show. Great kid there.
Yeah.
And, interesting story, Baby Blanche. Do you know Baby Blanche?
No. Okay. Is she a new one?
Well,
what does she do? She's an actress?
Yes.
In Ghana?
Yes.
Watch any of their movies? I always ask that question.
No.
You love Ghanaian movies at all?
I do.
You do?
Do I?
Which one?
If you insist.
Yeah, which one have you watched?
The last time I watched a Ghanaian movie, I think it was Three Lovers of Melody.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking.
That's in the 80s or 90s.
Yes, indeed. I want to support
That's
the Ghanaian
90.
film industry, but there are too few of them doing a good job. Too few of them, you know. And
but the production house of Shelley Frimpong, they do a great job.
that's one example of you know, Ghanaians doing it.
few.
Yeah, one of the few. Yes, yes. You have to travel too far to find a good Ghanaian movie.
And even the good ones, really,
better.
by the time they go for the shows and the exhibitions, they become stale by the time they come around.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed, yeah.
All right.
We should be better storytellers than that. We all grew up around the fireside. We shouldn't be struggling with that. Okay, so yes, baby Blanche apparently regrets dating her ex-boyfriend, whoever he is. Yeah. But yes, that's a story that the Daily Guide would like you to learn more about.
Well, it's one of those Mondays. So we have the front page of the Business and Financial Times. Rate of business failure unacceptable, according to the Minister in charge of Business Development. That's Ibrahim Awal Mohammed. The biggest threat to AFCFTA is ourselves. So we have put the given us that indication. And then savings and loans companies suffer identity crisis as sector lacks the policy direction. And if we have to take a look at the story, ever taken a loan at a savings and loan company?
No, I haven't.
Okay, you haven't. Okay, so it says savings and loans companies are suffering from an identity crisis due to the lack of a policy direction for the sector. Chunibu Akodua Boachi, who is the president of the Ghana Association of Savings and Loans Companies, has said, and it's also because he feels that the Bank of Ghana needs to make sure it has a hands-on approach for the sector. And we know that as far as we're concerned, we've had some difficulties in that direction. Many of them tend to go up the ladder and become big commercial banks, etc. Because of that, they tend to suffer some identity crisis in the process. That's a good one there, because they serve large segments of the society in itself. On the back page, we have 2017 National Best Farmer receives prize money from ADB and Accra Bureau. They have donated to the Chief Imam, just all in the celebrations of the Muslim feast, end of Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr.
Yes, indeed.
I'll wait for the papers we have here. You have to go to the online portals. Which one do you have?
Well, the Herald has a few interesting headlines. Government middleman, that's how they describe Gabi Ochredakon, and they say his dirty job collapsed. Caught with fake Ghana cards to embarrass minority MPs. Apparently, Gabi tweeted these ID cards.
I think I saw Sniper, but I think later he came out to say that apparently they were fake. He came to do that retraction, so to speak. So,
yeah.
Wow.
Akufo-Addo has put Jubilee House on sale, according to Spio Gabra, and he decries corruption menace. And DC diverts items for physically challenged persons, gives them to NPP members. I certainly hope, if that is true, he is brought to book for it. And if it's not true, please let's not besmirch people's names. All right, we've got the Dispatch as well, and the Observer. You interested?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. No. I'll throw you a few headlines. Anas on Nyantichi's claims. We did not trap him to implicate himself. How Asutifi North District lost 12.7 million Ghana cedis royalties from Newmont. And 68% of Ghanaians support multi-party democracy, but less trust in parties. Yeah.
Well, talking about Nyantichi, I know that there's already a statement that has also been published widely by the various online portals. I cannot attest to the authenticity of that statement.
Purported to be from him, but we're yet to confirm this.
Yeah. Giving us some indications as to whether the money he received was bribe money, etc. But, you know, there's a lot of news flying around. Sometimes if you don't authenticate, it becomes a difficulty. But let's go to myjoyonline.com.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah, so we'll go to myjoyonline.com. We'll look at the stories there. But what we'll be featuring quickly as possible also will be other stories also from the Africa page of the BBC. But please, you can get interactive as well while we pull that out. It's also your birthday today. Adriana, you're the wife of my good friend who works with the GNA, Caesar Bagali. You're based in Tamale. I hope that you enjoyed your birthday yesterday. He kept reminding me that yesterday was your birthday. I should give you a belated birthday wish, and I have done that.
Oh, can I say happy birthday
Yeah.
to someone? Okay, so Nana Yeboah of UBA celebrated her birthday over the weekend.
Wow.
And so did her good friend, Rachel Datson, whose birthday is actually today.
Okay.
So happy birthday to you, Rachel.
Sweet
Yes.
Rachel. She's sweet, isn't she?
Well, if you insist.
Okay.
She's a lovely lady, yes.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
So we do myjoyonline.com, could you?
Bring me into your propaganda. Right, okay. So IMF, U.S. tariffs could undermine global trade. And the Trump administration's trade policies, according to the IMF, are likely to hurt the U.S. economy and undermine the world's trade system. Donald Trump, though, just, I believe, thinks he's doing a good deal, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, you know, from what happened in Canada with the Canadian prime minister, so to speak.
I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Trump was throwing out some weird accusations.
Just on Air
Canada.
Force One, he decided to tweet on the contrary, an agreement he had earlier signal his intention to sign. He said whatever has been signed is annulled.
You know what? Donald Trump is many things. He is not boring.
Yeah, I know. He's full of drama. Okay, let's move on.
Oh, God. Vintage Mexico stunned defending champions Germany. And, oh, boy, what a game. You watched it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Germany seemed, my God, they seemed like they had stones in their boots. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I think they just felt a bit heavy. It was that thing about as if they'll come to life and they just never get there.
Yeah.
You know that point where you want to get to that climax, but you never kind of reach. Yeah.
Indeed. I mean, and look, they worked hard. You can't deny that.
Yeah, they did, but
it just wasn't enough.
It's just, I think it's just, I started watching the World Cup from 1990 very well. I mean, on my own with the TV and all. So it's always like that. You have Argentina having the same problem with Cameroon, you know. France did it with Senegal. They always get stunned, and you feel this liturgy, you know, as if you want to get into your stride, but you never
You're
get
just not getting there.
It's just one of those things.
It's tragic. But Mexico were fantastic.
It's just at the beginning, so perhaps maybe we're getting too conclusive too early.
Yeah, maybe they've got some magic, you know, some German efficiency to come.
Yep.
Right. Let's see. What else do we have? Asempa FM Father's Day Fun Fair. When men put troubles behind and had fun. Right. Do these men look like they put their troubles behind? Yeah. Maybe, but they certainly did have fun because Asempa FM throws a great party. National Science and Maths Quiz 2018. Contestants have fun as 1/8 draw promises more fun. Oh boy, it's just getting more and more heated and exciting, and the young ones are demonstrating some amazing prowess in these competitions. I just can't take my eyes off them. It's great to watch.
I'm always watching, especially now that social media has made it easy for you to follow, even if you're not watching.
Indeed.
I think that's a good part about it.
And that's the wonderful thing. So in spite of the drama of the World Cup, everybody is still very excited about the National Science and Maths
Yeah,
Quiz.
at least you can keep your eyes on multiple screens or platforms at the same time.
Or you can come back and just watch it on social media if you have to catch a game live. Yeah. Right, second half free kick gives Serbia victory over Costa Rica. And that, of course, is the other story from the World Cup over the weekend. No bed syndrome, unacceptable, inhumane. And that is according to Occupy Ghana. They outline 11-point emergency plan. You know what? All we need is an emergency plan. I mean, for a nation of our size not to have one single phone number that you can call, whether you need an ambulance, police, fire service, any emergency service. Why don't we have one number? Why? Why is it that...
Should we have one synchronized number? I thought we have the regular 911. And
you see, the idea of an emergency is that you are in a situation where help is needed immediately.
So when we have that number, it will be a platform by which we can quickly get you some assistance.
What it will mean is that there is a place where your call is going. Now, if there is a place, then that place must have a protocol. It must have a system. It must have a way of knowing where your nearest hospital is, whether there's a bed there or not, and if there isn't, where the next place is.
Is that what happens in the more developed countries?
Of course, of course.
And we saw where patterning our development by those patterns.
Well, that's what we keep saying. That's what we keep saying.
And our big men, they went to Harvard and those things.
They still go. Even when they are in office, they still...
Cambridge.
Yes, yes.
Cardiff.
They fly out
Wales.
for education, yes. At the best institutions. And then they come back and...
I see.
Yes. You see, the problem is we insulate our leaders from the problems we want them to solve.
Yeah.
That's why. All right, let's see. What else have we got? Rita Kriba files suit against Africa World Airlines for denying her a seat on the flight. You remember this story?
Yeah, I remember the
Physically
story.
challenged woman.
I remember the story.
Yes.
Very, I don't know, very unfortunate story as it unfolded at the time. I don't know, it's got to do with an institution, the Africa World Airlines. They came to give their own version and explanations. But I think that if people are in a vulnerable state, our societal institutions should be responsible for them. The thing is, as a people, we've not been able to give due cognizance to the vulnerable and those who are underprivileged, and that has festered. And as a result of that, the institutions have picked them on, whether public or private. And I think that there's a video going around. I know it happened in an African country, but there was a pastor who dressed like as if he was insane, you know, the normal mad people we call them. His own church, he had been at the frontage of his church. His congregants filed past him. He kept begging, nobody mind him. When it was time, he stood up, went to the pulpit and said, "This is me. I've been here all along, nobody." And that's the church. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a fascinating example of who we really are.
Yeah.
You know, when nobody's
all
watching.
of us
Yes.
are perpetuators of all this.
No doubt. Disregard pictures of minority MPs' fake Ghana cards. National Identification Authority saying that. And the NIA, they've faced a bit of fire.
Yeah, they've been on fire the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
I don't know. I thought this would have been a beautiful exercise without any of the drama that we usually witness as far as our country is concerned. But we have the story on Nyantechi.
I was asked to pay $150,000 to cancel screening of Anas expose.
Oh, okay.
And Nyantechi tells his side of the story.
I'm sure, again, still called from that statement that we're getting.
Yes, we're still seeking to authenticate that statement, but it has some very interesting content, and it's going to spark conversations for days to come.
I know.
Very interesting. You know, I wonder whether Mr. Nyantechi is saying this as some sort of mitigation of
but
what
he's
he was
supposed to be
seeing.
under investigation.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, so he claims here that he was asked by Anas to pay this money
Before the screening.
to stop the screening. Okay.
But 150,000 seems paltry compared to the reputational damage.
Yes, so somebody gave you $65,000 during the investigation, gave it to you, hasn't taken it back. But that person needs $150,000 from you in order to stop screening the thing that they spent their time and money creating.
Maybe somebody was trying to extort $150,000.
I don't know, but
dollars from him.
Does it have any bearing on what Mr. Nyantechi was seen doing on these videos?
Well, sometimes you have to soil the public opinion so that you try to.
No doubt there will be conversations about
There's always
this.
crisis management
if that statement
strategies.
is substantiated. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know.
I've been to a couple of them. It's usually not easy to manage crisis.
Yeah.
Well, so let's go to the Africa page of the BBC if we can, see whether we can get some stories from there. Okay. So, could we have...
Aquarius.
you know that migrant ship?
Yes. The migrants have now been welcomed into Spain after being parked on the coast.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of miles off the coast for ages.
Yeah, they had docked there for some time.
Indeed.
They went from Italy, they went to Malta. The Maltese government said, no, we're not giving you entry for you to dock along our coast. Yeah. And so they've been accepted by Spain.
Yes, Valencia has taken them in. And it's just another tragic example of people who are so certain that their lives will be better in some other man's country.
Yeah.
They are so sure of it.
You've lived in England, so I'd say if you're a migrant there, your situation is always better.
Is it?
I think so.
Really?
My friends who are there, the logo, their skin is better.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Have you heard of the phenomenon called council tax?
I don't know. Council tax is which one? They take nice mortgages, they pay till they are 60. It's not bad. You live in a building you cannot build, so that's good.
Okay.
Make sure you work well and pay for it.
Right.
That's a good thing about living abroad.
Interesting.
I should have migrated somewhere when I was younger.
It's never too late, Roland.
No, I'm nearing my pension, so that's okay. Let me stay home.
I can see you right now, as a security guard somewhere.
Yeah, I know, right?
Paying council tax.
I used to watch him on TV.
Yes, I know this guy. Yes. I remember when I saw Kwesi Dakwa hard at work in England. I went and had a chat with him. I was very, very impressed.
Life is not easy.
No, it's not.
Right.
All right then. So
we have another story: the suicide attacks killed 31 in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Something that is not abnormal in that country at all.
Very sad, very sad.
Violence hits Eritrean Cycle Festival, and Eagles go down 2-0 in the first match. That's from June 16, though.
My heart was broken. Yes. Boris Becker claims CAR immunity.
The thing is, he's lost some big-time money in some business dealings, and in order for him to make sure that he dodges Uncle Sam in England, the taxman in England, says that he's an ambassador for the Central African Republic, and because of that, he's using that to claim immunity.
I see.
Yeah.
Has
declared bankruptcy.
It
doesn't mean he's broke, though. They have a way of doing.
Has the British government given him accepted his credentials as a diplomat?
Not yet.
Then where is he getting the immunity from?
Not yet.
He's watched a few too many movies, maybe.
Yeah, he says he now loves the Central African Republic. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that
either.
But that's a good thing about it.
Yes, good fun. Nigerian football fans embrace Russia. Okay. And quite a bit going on the BBC Africa page. Go check it out. So much to read.
Well, and you'll be going to the Malam interchange area.
That's right. I'm going to head out there later. Okay. This is a place that has undergone some construction, yet we're seeing a lot of traffic build up there. It's affecting lives and productivity.
Wow.
And I'm going to go talk to those who are most affected by it, including the engineer who is overseeing the work.
Yeah, they were in the studio sometime promising us some beautiful scenery of relief. I had commuted to and fro from that area within that period when they came to the studio, and the traffic was bad then. Yeah. I don't know whether it's worsened, but well, I'm told that it's not too good.
Some suggest that relief still remains a promise. So we'll see. When I get there, I'll cast my eye over things.
It's not unusual for promises to be broken in our country.
It is not. Even when you pay for results, you don't necessarily get it.
All right. So please make sure that you get interactive throughout the show on Facebook, JoyNews on TV. You can also catch the latest update from myjoyonline.com, and then let us hear from you from the various social media platforms we have. Watch us also live on MyJoyOnline TV on YouTube. Next, we'll be bringing to you the latest sports headlines. And Kujo, we've had all the issues about how we complain about Germany, Brazil, but Ghana is not there, so we have nothing to complain about.
Oh, well, in fact,
Nigeria didn't do too well.
I think this frees us to complain happily. Since we're not in there.
I keep watching the matches without any sense of responsibility and feeling no trepidation at all.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, because I have nothing to lose.
But I would so much rather have the trepidation.
Really?
I wish we were in this.
Yeah.
Although it would have been a very funny time with GFA, going through what is going through right now. Yeah.
Right. Well, Benedict is ready with the latest sports headlines. Benedict.
Hi, Roland.
Good morning. What can you tell us? I'm told that you are friends with some of the big Nigerian players. What can you tell us about what happened that they lost that match? It was as if they'll get into full gear and they never got. They were always on the third gear, just getting into their strides, and they get nicknamed 1-0. and by the time they will get into their groove, the second goal comes through a penalty scored by that little whiz kid.
Yeah, that's Modric. Well, after the game, one of their former players, that's Peter Odemwingie, posted on his Twitter page looking at or reviewing the game, and he mentioned that the game was lost from the bench. Kenneth Rowe got some calls wrong, and I thought that it was true, because watching the game in the second half, he made some changes. Iwobi going out and Mikel Obi staying throughout the game. I thought that it didn't really wash well for me, and that Mikel should have come out and rather Iwobi pushed forward a bit. Then Itebo also at some point wasn't pulling the team, and he should have also come out, but he left all these players on. So for me, Nigeria lost the game from the bench.
Yeah, I wonder how they'll fare against Argentina and Iceland. Right?
Iceland. I mean, Iceland playing some fantastic football. Who thought that Iceland were going to hold Argentina to that 1-1 draw?
Is it not the same Iceland we went to draw with?
Yeah, same Iceland we played with. Yeah.
How come
and
we
it's
never
the same
qualify?
Iceland. It's the same Iceland we saw at the Euro 2016 that eliminated England from the one of 16. So it's not just a normal Iceland team. It's a team that have worked very hard to get to where they are, and we have to give them that credit. I knew they were going to play very well, but as to whether they were going to draw with Argentina, I didn't, anticipate that, but they played very well.
Is it true that 5 of the team members are medical doctors?
Exactly. It's not even about the...
even the coach, I'm
the
told.
coach is a dentist.
Is a dentist.
He's a
the goalkeeper is a film director.
Exactly. I mean, we saw that from the team.
These guys, they play football part-time.
Football is just part-time.
Yeah, I'm told there are only 300,000 in their country.
Yeah, very, very small country.
Accra is 4 million people. We can't manage waste, we can't manage anything. 300,000.
And it was interesting that in 2016, half of the country actually traveled to France to watch the game.
Amazing.
So, yeah, half of the country traveled to France to watch the game. So just imagine if Iceland were to be like Ghana. It would have been interesting and so nice.
They have a fantastic standard of living,
yeah,
no doubt.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
They do.
They live well
because
in
of the population. They do.
Part-time footballers held Messi in check.
They even need immigrants.
Wow.
Their men can't get enough women to marry. Yeah. And all that.
Plan to go there and have a few.
Yeah, I was thinking, but then I asked my wife if we can do something about our
donate
state.
a few women. Good luck with that.
But their per capita for the year is $54,000 US.
That's fantastic.
Averagely, that's what the average person earns. Average top end.
Almost as much as what Benedict earns a month.
Oh no!
All right, could you know what, Roland? We have to take a break. After which we'll do more sports discussion. Obviously, it's all about the World Cup.